I'm so excited to share this actress and activist with you all. Any guesses who it is? Hi heroes, I'm Genesis Butler, and today I'm talking with Evanna Lynch, one of the stars of Harry Potter. Alright, let's watch this video.
A friend said to me recently, you change people by your example, not your opinion. My name's Evanna Lynch and I'm an actress and I'm also a vegan activist. I have a podcast called the Chickpeeps where I interview my favorite vegans, my friends and role models.
So why did you become a vegan?
I was a vegetarian who didn't like vegetables, so I didn't think I could be vegan. I remember when people would talk about it, my mom would always say, oh no, it's too extreme, it's too radical.
Comment a heart emoji if you have also thought in the past that becoming vegan is too hard or too radical too.
And then when I was about 19, I moved to LA and I met a lot of vegans and I would talk about being an ethical vegetarian and they'd be like, well, why are you not vegan? And eventually I realized I didn't know the answer to that question, and so I started reading about it, and I read this book called Eating Animals and I just found I agreed with everything that was in the book and I knew I had to go vegan then.
So why did you become an activist?
Why anyone becomes an activist? Because you're discontent with the state of the world and how easy it is for people to ignore what's happening to animals. Most of my friends love animals, have cats or dogs. My whole family loves animals, but they just don't want to look at animal suffering because it makes them feel bad, it makes them feel guilty. The society that we live in has made it too easy to turn our backs on this violence, on this like mass injustice and exploitation. So I just want to do what I can to help put it in front of people's eyes and say, this is not okay, this is the next big social justice movement that we need to turn our attention to.
So what type of activism do you do?
I favor activism. Victoria Moran, who I know interviewed you, she calls it attractivism, which I really love that concept of like just embodying those values. Like you're not forcing it on people, but you're living in a way that makes people be like, that's so, what you're doing, it's like inspiring me. It's what you do. You don't force it down people's throats or you don't make people feel bad or guilty. But to me, I think in order to listen, you first have to feel good about yourself and feel happy. And if you can do it in a way that like, you focus on the positive things of veganism, because we want there to be more love and compassion and all that kind of thing.
I love the idea of attractivism. Comment a thumbs up if you agree. I try to set an example for people because I think a lot of people aren't really realizing of all the things that animal agriculture is doing to the planet and of how the animals have to suffer, because some people think of their food as meat, not an animal that would want to live and survive.
When I went vegan, I felt just more myself. Like I was like, oh, this is a part of me that's been missing. And at first I was really nervous to like be public about it and tell people and use the term vegan. But as soon as I did, I just met more people who I liked. I met like a community that I felt I belonged to.
Why do you think it's important for people to show compassion and love animals?
I believe we have this duty to care for the vulnerable among us, that being people and animals, and I think animals are the most vulnerable. I think, you know, we are lucky to be at the top of the food chain, and I think our responsibility is to protect those weaker than us, not to oppress, not to dominate. Honestly, okay, this is getting into feminist principles, but I think that's kind of a result of the patriarchy. I think if we lived in like a matriarchal society, those values wouldn't be championed. It wouldn't be about dominating and oppressing and showing off your strength.
I think if women were in charge of a world, that it would be ran way differently. Like they would be more compassionate to animals. But I think it really depends on what woman it was that would run like the planet basically, because some women, they like to hunt too. Like this video, make sure you subscribe and that you've hit that notification bell, and keep watching to see who I talk with next. Bye heroes.